थ्रू द एजेस। इस सेशन के इसके चौथे सेशन में मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं और अभी आदरणीय डॉक्टर कुंटे सर भी हमारे साथ है। आज का हमारा जो टॉपिक है एंसेंट इंडियन म्यूजिक, इस विषय के बारे में आज वो हमें मार्गदर्शन करने वाले हैं। कल कुछ हमारे सहभागी जो है उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छे नोट्स जो लिखे थे वो सभी शेयर किए, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। इसी तरह से हमारे सारे जहाँ जितने पार्टिसिपेंट हैं, मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि कृपया आप भी जो है जो सर सिखा रहे हैं उसे जरूर लिखें और शेयर करें। थैंक यू एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट टू कुंटे सर, प्लीज प्रोसीड।
Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the nature or characteristics of the ancient Indian music. And as if we have taken a ride through the musicological text and some concepts we have already dealt, I am today going to play some music clips and as samples of that music of that era, and then we are going to discuss about the sort of music that was prevalent in ancient India. So let me play some tracks. So I'm going to play some tracks of Vedic music first. Presenting a window. Yes, good. Now this is a recitation of a psalm from South Kotuma tradition of Samagayan. So this was a example of a kind of recitation. Can anyone tell me which were these notes in today's terms? Can anyone identify these notes?
Sir, maybe Komal Nishad, Komal Gandhar. If we take Sa, this is Sa.
Yeah. Okay, now listen carefully. In the starting portion, you will mark few more notes. Notice this. So how many notes are these?
Sir, that may be Nipa.
Pancham.
Nipa, Komal Nishad and Pancham.
Yeah, correct. So there are four notes. Okay. Mostly the part was between Ni, Komal Ni, Sa, and Re, or we can say it like Chadhare. It is tilting towards Komal Gandhar. That is a distinct Shruti. It is neither Shuddharisham, neither Komal Gandhar. Okay. Ta, dha, da, 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 na, na. So, ni, da, re is not re, da, ni, da, da, da. Da, 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 da. So that means there are 4 notes and they are not in a sequential order. Okay. Why I played this particular piece? Because that is a false notion usually being told, like Samagan is in 3 notes and they are like da ni da 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 da. That is the wrong notion. That, yes, that these 3 notes are used, but they are part of recitation, part, not gana. And there is a distinction between part and gana. As you know, there is mention of Archika, Gathika, Samika, Swarantara, Odava, Shadava, and Sampurna. And this is a gradual progression of having notes in the singing of Sama. So what is Sama? Basically, Sama consists of a group of Rucha. Rucha is like a verse, we can say. And so each Sama has a certain number of Ruchas that are verses. And of course, it is said that there were thousands of traditions of singing Samas in ancient times. And today there are just 3 or 4 left. The major is Ranayaniya, Kautuma, Jaiminiya. So this was from Kautuma Shakha, and this had, in this particular Sama, there were 4 notes. And they are not always in sequential order. So Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita doesn't mean like they are in a sequence, like Sa, Ni, Sa, Re, or Ni, Sa, Re, Sa. They might not be in this sequence. They are just so the 3 degrees are there. Let us listen to another piece. No, why it is not playing? Okay, I hope now this will play. I'm intrigued why it is not playing. Okay, yes. I feel sometimes a little bit technically challenged. Okay. Yeah. Are you able to listen to this part? Because I have shared this window, so I hope it is audible to you. Yeah. Now this is again Kautuma Shakha, but from north part, it is from Gujarat. Now you must be noting that in a way the Adhara Swara or Swarita we can say it's shifting. Firstly started da 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 da, and then he shifted to da 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 da. Then he shifted to another next note. So the sa is not always the fixed note. Some people might have find a similarity with our Mangalashtaka singing with this. It's very similar to that kind of tune. Okay, now let us listen another piece. It is from Ranayaniya Shakha. Now this is a Gana, and it's very interesting piece.
This is late.
Okay. I think every time I need to, yeah, no, it's presenting. Yeah.
This is another chanting of Ranayaniya Shakha. The chanter is late Lakshman Shastri Dravid of Pune. The two Samans chanted by him are.
This voice is of Dr. Goha Taralekar, who was a great scholar of Vedic music, and he has written extensively on ancient Indian music, primarily Saman chanting, and of course on his work on the musical instruments is brilliant. He documented the Samagana from all the shakhas, Ranayaniya, Kotuma, etc. So he is introducing that. Now listen to the Gana part. Now, okay, now listen carefully, listen or mark the progressions in his singing. Now, see, like he's singing, na ra a ta na na a ra da ra. So it is mentioned in books like the Samagan or the Saptaka from Samagan was Avrohi compared to the Saptaka on Venu. So it is told to us that the Sama Swara Prathama is Madhyama, Dvitiya is Gandhar, Tritiya is Rishabh, Chaturtha is Sa, Shadaj. Mandra, Samaswar Mandra is Nishad, Atiswar is Devata, and Krishna is Pancham. But in some texts it is mentioned like Mandra is Dha and Atiswara is Ni. So it like Magaresa Dhanipa. And you will find that in this particular Samagana, you will find that the order was ra, 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 ra. That was sa, ra, ni, pa. So this explains like what was the structure of the octave, which were the note places, Swarasthanas, and actually Samagan was said to be like there was Prastar with Hinkar, then Udgita, Pratihar, Upadrav, and Nidhana. So here actually there is only one singer. Usually it was Prastota, Udgata, Pratiharta, and they were said to be singing with the Omkar recited by Yajaman. And the Kanda Vina or Apaghatila Vina played by the Yajamana Patni. It is not like here, it's a solo singing. And also in Pushpasutra Pratishakya, it is mentioned that there are changes in the text, like Vikara Vishleshana, Vikarshana, Abhyasa, Virama, Stobha. So that means elongating the notes in a particular fashion for having alapana. So you will find that such kind of things, alapana, is done there, and there is a voice modulation like ra, ra, ta. Oh, this is very similar or familiar to us, our Indian ears. We often see this kind of progression even today in our music, especially in Tumriya Tappa also. So that has the roots in this kind of Samagana. Okay, I will play another piece. Again, this is from Ranayaniya Shaka. Why it is not playing? this particular type of samagana, okay, let me explain that. Archika was recitation with just one note. Gathika, that means with two notes. Then Samika means with three notes, and Swarantara means with four notes. And then there are Odava, Shadava, Sampurna, we know 5, 6, and 7 notes. So the last two pieces that we listened to, they were having the Saptaka. So that was a Samagana in a Sampurna Krama. The first was Swarantaragana. Okay, and in the last two pieces, we also had the kind of variations for Alapa they do. Stobha and Virama, Vikarshana, that kind of things. And there is no Tala applied to this. But wasn't there Tala anywhere in Vedic period? Of course there was Tala, and even there were Tala Vadyas also. Percussion instruments were there. But particularly in the Samagan, Tala was not employed. And as we know that there are many forms even today pertaining to religious music which don't apply Tala. Of course, there was other type of music in the same period. We are just talking about Samagan. If you want to take a look to Vedic music as such in totality, Samaved was just one part of that. It was ritualistic music. So apart from this kind of ritualistic music, there were other types of music, and that we can call, this was Margi Sangeet. The other type of Sangeet was Deshi Sangeet. And it is mentioned that during the Yajna Vidhi, the rituals were from the morning to late afternoon. And in the evening, it is said that there were performances by Gandharva Apsara with Deshi Sangeet. And naturally, it was sort of relaxation or entertainment after this heavy kind of religious music or ritualistic music. So there were specific clans of performers who would entertain the masses, and they were called as Gandharva and Apsaras. So this kind of Deshi Sangeet was also prevalent in the same period, Vedic period. But of course, we don't get much references to these music because the whole Vedic literature explains, it's centered towards the ritualistic approach of the society. So there are a few references to the living culture or the lifestyle of the masses in the Atharva Veda, which is not a Veda for music. But there are still some references, and we get other sort of references from Pushpa Sutra Pratishakya or other texts. And it is said that which instruments were there during Vedic period. So there were Veenas, that means lutes or string instruments, like Kanda Veena, Vakra Veena, Alabu, Aghati, Gargara, Van, Godha, Pichora, Kapi Shirsha. So all these kind of Veenas were there. That means they were having in a way a developed melodic structure. Because if there are so many instruments, that signifies that there was a progress in the aspect of melodic design. Of course, there are Sushira Vadyas like Venu, Shankha, Shranga, Karadhuni, Bakura, Nali, Turnava. So that means there was ample of melodic elaboration done in Vedic time itself. Why I'm telling you this? Because it is always told to us that Vedic music was just 3 notes, but it is wrong. Otherwise, why would they have mentioned the other types like Archika, Gathika, Samika, Swarantara, Odav, Shadav, Sampurna. Huh? What was the point then mentioning that? Okay. Let me also share you some clips of music from the ancient period, but not from the same type. We can say that music was in a way. Just a minute, I will. Okay, let me show you a slide first, and then I will explain. Yeah. So before Vedic times, like in prehistoric times, from Paleolithic period, Chalcolithic period, we have the evidences of this kind of instruments. These are the archaeological findings, and you can see that here are some kind of flutes from the late Paleolithic period and early Chalcolithic period. And you will find that there were 4 such holes. And in flute, as you know, if there are 4 holes, you can produce at least 5 notes. So that means even prior to Vedic period, the music was having 5 to 6 notes. Now this is from the Indus Valley civilization period, and you can see this kind of harp. This is Egyptian harp, not from India, but similar kind of harps were there in India. You will see here. Now this is the bow-shaped harp, or we can say Vakra Veena, that was prevalent in ancient time. It was not actually just in India, but most of the world was having this kind of Veena in ancient times. In the Rupert excavation, basically this figure, terracotta figure, is from Rupert, and you can see the lute player holding the Veena, and she's playing it with a plectrum. So later we know that there were 2 kinds of Veena, Chitra Veena and Vipanchi Veena. One was played with fingers and one was played with plectrum, Kamrika. So we can see that here. This is a very famous.
So can you change slide?
Yeah, I have changed the slide. Yeah. Are you? हाँ काय काय?
फक्त फ्लूटची स्लाइड दिसते दुसरी नाही.
हाँ असं कसं काय? मी आता 5वी 6वी स्लाइड म्हणजे माझ्या इथे दिसते पुढची स्लाइड.
नाही दिसत आहे सर आम्हाला.
थांबा मी एक काम करतो, परत शेअर करतो मी. आता दिसतंय का?
हाँ अभी दिख रहा है.
हाँ हाँ हाँ. Okay. I think I did shift this presentation on slide mode, so that why I think it was stuck there. Okay, so this kind of terracotta figure we get from the late Indus Valley civilization period, probably a few centuries prior to Vedic period. And from after Vedic period, we get these kinds of panels. This is from Barhut Stoop from Madhya Pradesh, and this is a Buddhist shrine, And you can see here actually there are 4 dancers in the right side, and in the left side there is a kutapa, that is orchestra, to which Bharata and all the ancient musicologists have referred to. So this is kutapa, and you can see that there are 3 singers which are singing with keeping the ताल on hand. So ताल देकर, हाथ पर ताल देकर वो गा रही हैं, जो कि आज भी हम करते हैं in Carnatic music, and even in the Dhrupad Sangeet, everything everyone sings with clapping. So that is age-old tradition. And you can see that here is a lady with holding the
जय माताजी.
and there
मी
are
मस्त आहे. तुम्ही सांगा, तुम्ही काय म्हणताय? सगळे कसे आहेत?
कोणतरी बोलतंय.
बरोबर.
रागिणी कौसाडीकर, तुमचा माईक बंद करा.
हा, तुमचा जेव्हा मेसेज आला होता
yeah. So this is a this kind of musical setup was there, and you can see that the lady who is playing drum, it's urdhva mridanga, just like tabla. In the same Bharut, you can see another panel with this Padma Apsara holding the veena. And there is another panel of Jataka Katha where you can see the Bakura instrument that this monkey has holding. It's like a shankha attached to a blowpipe. That was Bakura. And there are, of course, other percussion instruments, Ghana Vadya and Avranta Vadyas. And this kind of veena was prevalent, like Pinaki veena or Vakra veena, we can say. As I said, there were 2 types of Vakra veena, Vipanchi and Chitra. So this kind of veena is all over in paintings and sculptures in ancient times. You can see this board. Recently, there was some work done to reconstruct these kind of veenas, and there is a person, theater activist in Kolkata, who is worked on the revival of dance, music, and theater from Natya Shastra, and he has actually refabricated these kinds of veenas, and he demonstrates them. It's very interesting. Okay, so here you will find another type of veena. This is Amaravati Stupa, and this yaksha is holding a sort of instrument which is similar to today's sarod. And there are also flute players along with the dancers. So this is another type of veena which is called as Kachapi veena in Bharata's text. Here is another panel from Pavaya, and you can see both type of veenas are present here. On the right side there is Vipanchi veena, and left side there is Kachapi veena. On the top of Kachapi veena you can see the flute player, and on the top left there is a player who is holding 2 drums in a way similar to tabla, we can say. These were called urdhvaka mridanga, and there is another lady holding only 1 drum on her lap. It was Ankika mridanga or Ankya mridanga. Similarly, you can see it in Ajanta caves, that here in the right side there is a musician who is having a pair of drums kept on the ground and played with hand holding on the surface. So it's very similar to today's tabla. This is a coin of Samudragupta holding the lute. In Ajanta, in this slide, you can see the Kachapi Veena. This is again a panel from Ajanta. You can see the flute players, the Kansya Talika players, and Urdhva Mridanga is there. Yeah. So you can see these are some drawings from the book by G.H. Taralekar, Musical Instruments from Indian Sculptures. That is a fantastic work. Actually, he has plotted these kinds of instruments from the sculptures and has given a corroborative evidence from the texts like Natya Shastra, Ratnakar, and other texts. So on the left side, you can see the variety of Vakra Veena from various sculptures. And you can see there is an increasing number of strings, and the style of holding these kind of Veenas is also different. On the right side, you will see Kachapi Veena. There is a Veena called Kanda Veena. It's similar to today's, in a way, Tanpura or Veena. Then, okay, yeah, you can see another type of Veena. This 20 number Veena is like a Swaramandal of today. In a way, it is very close to Shatatantri Veena. The 21 number sketch is not from sculptures. They have just shown it for the comparison. And later, from say 10th century onwards, we get the sculptures of Veenas having frets, Padda. So till that point, Indian lutes were not having frets. They were fretless instruments. After that point, we get frets. So even Sharangdev mentions about the frets, Sarika. You can see this is Kinnari Veena and then Alabu Veena. Now this 31 and 32, these are like Tanpura. So these are from 12th century. So that point onwards, we can get some instruments like Tanpura. And why do we get Tanpura from this point and not from earlier period? Can anyone guess about this?
क्योंकि मुझे लगता है सर कि उससे पहले वो जैसे सामगान में समूह में बैकग्राउंड में तानपुरा के लिए यूज करते थे, ओमकार वगैरह उस टाइप से यूज करते होंगे।
नहीं, जैसे हमने देखा था कि सामगान में भी कांडे वीणा का वादन होता था आधार स्वर के लिए, एंड कांडे वीणा वाज सिंगल स्ट्रिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट, दैट वाज नॉट विथ 4 strings or 3 or 5 strings. It was just single string instrument. And mostly we see in the panels of Kutapa also, there were Vipanchi, Chitra and Kachapi Veenas, but not drone instrument. So why was drone absent in ancient Indian music?
सर म्हणजे मला फार माहित नाही, पण षड्ज पंचम अचल स्वराची कन्सेप्ट संगीत दर्पण मध्ये तर त्याच्या आधी कदाचित ते नसावं वापरत, त्यामुळे कदाचित तानपुरा पण फार वापरत नसावं जसं आता दिसतो.
Okay, again there is a misconception. Yeah, Chandrika Pure, you can.
हा सर, मला असं वाटतं की एकल गायनाची प्रथा तिथून सुरू झाली असेल म्हणून कदाचित तिथून तानपुऱ्याचा.
No, not absolutely. This is again the wrong notion that solo singing was not in ancient times. There are a lot of references to a single person singing. It is not like that solo singing was not there. The cause or the root cause is in the ancient times we were practicing 2 grammars, Shadjagram and Madhyamagramas, and there were melodic development on the basis of Murchana system. And from say 12 or 13th century onwards, this Murchana system was abandoned and we started using Sthira Adhara Swara. Murchanas were no longer practiced, and that's why we needed an instrument which can give us a drone note. Earlier there was no need of drone note, because see, in the Vipanchi or Chitra kind of veena, there are strings with staccato notes. On Kachapi veena you can create legato notes, mean gamak type. But on Vipanchi veena or Chitra veena, there are staccato notes, and you can change the scale, or you can change the Adhara Swara with Murchana principle. And that kind of music was there. So in a way, after say 12th century onwards, the music system changed to having Adhara Swara. Again, someone said that Shadja Pancham were not Achala in earlier times. Actually, Shadja Pancham were not Achala till say 16th century. After that, we get a concept of Sthira Shadja Panchama. But even like till early 18th century, there are texts mentioning Shadja Panchama Vikruta, movable Panchama. Chuta Panchama, the concept of Chuta Panchama is there. So it is not like that. And even today, there are some musicians who believe that you have Shadja Panchama are not Achala. Like the Dagars, the Drupad singers believe that there are Shrutis of Shadja, there are Shrutis of Panchama. So they don't believe that Shadja Panchama are Achala. I think maybe from the advent of Khayal, we are in a way more prone towards the belief of Shadja Pancham being Achala. Yeah, there were some raised hands. Anjana Wadivkar. Yeah, what is your question?
सर, तुम्ही त्या नोट्स सांगितल्या सरोद साठी, मेन गमक साठी इंग्लिश मध्ये ते शब्द होते, ते काय कळलं नाही आम्हाला.
Glide. For mint, there is glide. And ghasit is also glide in.
Legato असं काहीतरी म्हणाला होता.
Legato. Yeah.
What is it?
Legato means ghasit. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Amrita Deshpande, what is your question?
Hello, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Sir, you showed that there were some types of flute at ancient times, and they had some 5 holes and some 4 holes, and they could create some minimum 5 swaras. So can you just let us know that how much maximum swaras they were possible with these instruments?
Yeah, basically I showed that slide of prehistoric flutes. From say Natya Shastra period onwards, we have flutes having all 12 or more than 12 notes, because Natya Shastra explains how to produce 22 shrutis on a flute. So,
oh, nice, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. There are actually Karan has explained like Mukta, Ardhamukta, Kampita. So Mukta means full whole. Then Ardhamukta means the finger is kept half on the whole, and Kampita is fluttered. So in that way, they used to produce, say, we can say that full note, half tone, semitone, and shruti, or more precisely, 1 shruti or 2 shrutis. Okay, now let us listen to a sort of jati. Now this is reconstructed from Bharata Bhashya. As we know that Bharata Bhashya is an ancient most text that gives notations of the songs. And later, of course, Sangeet Ratnakar has elaborately given the songs or the akshiptikas. Akshiptika means a cheese or bandish sort of thing. and Rupaka means a sort of a larger composition. In a way, we can compare it to today's Bada Khayal and Chota Khayal. Rupaka and Akshiptika. So this is a Jati Gayan reconstructed from Nanyadeva's Bharata Bhashya. And this reconstruction was done by Dr. Sulabha Thakar for a project. And let us listen to that so we can get an idea of what kind of music was there during ancient time, the Jati Gayan sort of thing. I don't know why it stops in between. Pardon me, there is a technical difficulty. The file is not playing. So this was an example of Shuddha Jati, Shadji Jati. Tambhava Lalata is the song. So this kind of music was there. So actually they have reconstructed as from the text without thinking of the modern aesthetics. This will sound a little weird to our ears today, but this was sung by Dr. Sulabha Thakar and Dr. Purnima Dhumale. So following the same lines, actually, there is a piece again from, this is a Sanskrit verse from Bharata Bhashya, but I have composed it in a same style, but with keeping mind modern aesthetics. So if we can reconstruct the ancient music in today's perspective, it will sound like this. Are you able to listen? No, I think.
Yes, sir.
देव देव महादेव देव देव महादेव गणेश त्रिपुरान्तक गणेश त्रिपुरान्तक भूताधिपति भगनेत्रहरं भूताधिपति भगनेत्रहरं देवैर्वन्द्यं सुरमखमथनं देवैर्वन्द्यं सुरमखमथनं देव देव महादेव देव देव महादेव रौद्रं भयदं गजचर्मपटं शम्भुं रक्षं ज्वलननिभजटं गजचर्मपटं शम्भुं रक्षं ज्वलननिभजटं भुजगपरिकरं त्रिदशगणवरं भुजगपरिकरं त्रिदशगणवरं दैत्यैर्नित्यं परिपठितचरं दैत्यैर्नित्यं परिपठितचरं देव देव महादेव देव देव महादेव उमापतिं नमितमभिमत सुखदम् उमापतिं नमितमभिमत सुखदम् शरणं सुरनुतमहमिह समुपगतः शरणं सुरनुतमहमिह समुपगतः देव देव महादेव देव देव महादेव देव देव
So, in a way, this is a kind of reconstruction of ancient Jati Gana. Actually, after Brihadeshi, the Sangeeta Ratnakar explains the way of presentation in much elaborated way. Like he explains Ragalap and Rupakalap. So as we know, there Alapti means elaboration of melodic design. So there were two ways, Anibaddha, Nibaddha sort of things. So when it was done along with the composition set to rhythm, it was Rupakalapti. Just like we sing the elaboration with Khayal today. It is elaboration along with the Tala cycle. So that was Rupakalapti. Rupaka means basically a composition. प्रबंध के अलग अलग प्रकार बताए गए हैं जिसमें वस्तु, रूपक, आक्षिप्तिका, वर्तनी ये भी आते हैं. And of course there are sections of compositions like Udgraha, Melapaka, Dhruva, Abhoga, and between Dhruva and Abhoga there is Antara. So in ancient times they were in a way explained in different parts. Like Udgraha means in a way today's first line, Mukhda. And today we actually take the Mukhda for further elaboration. But in ancient times, the second part of the composition, Melapaka, was used as for Alapakam. So that kind of separation of angas was expected in ancient times, which we don't follow today. So it is a change. But like Sangeet Ratnakar explains us that the composition which can be defining the raga is and bound in tal is akshiptika for grammar ragas and rupaka for deshi ragas. Okay, so rupaka was basically in deshi raga and akshiptika was for grammar ragas, and vartani was kind of a slow composition in which you can have the alap in more details, greater details. Like even today's Bada Khyal has it gives a larger scope for melodic elaboration. So that kind of thing also. And of course there were singing styles or elaborative techniques like Shuddha, Bhinna, Gaudi, Vesara and Sadharani Giti. These were the styles of singing or styles of improvisation. And many scholars considered that these were the prototypes of Drupad Banis and today's Khayal Gharanas. Yeah, someone texted it like laudable. I don't get the point. What do you want to tell me with this laudable?
No, sir. He or she means it's praiseworthy.
Okay. I thought that I'm not audible. So okay. So and Sangeet Ratnakar also explains the Swasthana Niyamas. Like again, it is followed even today. Like for Alapana, they have Sthaya, in which you establish the Shadja and go in the Mandra Saptaka first. Then it is like with Gandhara, then Panchama, then towards Nisha, then reaching to Star Shadja, it is Antara. Then Sanchara. Sanchara is like a more complex movement of notes rhythmically placed. So in a way, of today in elaboration of Khayal, as we have alap like Sthai alap and Antara alap, and then we increase the tempo a little bit, and we have Behlawa and Boltan Tan, that kind of section. That is Sanchari. And Abhoga was in a way crescendo movement. Today we have Tan in the Vilambit Khayal for this Abhoga. So in a way, the structure of elaboration that we follow today is from the ancient times itself. The terms are in a way changed. We don't sing Akshiptika or Vartani today, but we sing Bada Khayal and Chota Khayal. That's the thing. And again, as Sharangdev mentions, Alapana without a composition. So Alapana with composition was Rupakala. So he also explains Alap without Tala, or that means Anibadda Alap. And that is in a way similar to the Nomtom Alap for Drupad, in which the elaborate exposition of raga is done, and then there is a composition set to Tala, in which we usually don't sing alap again. We just have the play with the words or syllables and Tala. So as Sangeet Ratnakar also mentions the Varna Giti and Tala Giti, like it is mentioned Magadi, Ardhamagadi, that kind of Giti, which is applied later on in Drupad. So my point is, though we sing Drupad Khayal, Tappa and Thumri. These forms today, all these forms have their roots embedded in the ancient music. And we still follow the ancient system of music even today, but with, of course, in the due course of time, the manner of presentation and the terms have changed. Everything is the same otherwise. Okay, let me conclude this session with piece of, again, Jati Gayana, not Jati Gayana, I can say it's Prabandhas, a different kind of Prabandha. This is from Kalidasa's Ritu Samhar. I composed this, and why I'm demonstrating this here? Because it is believed that in ancient India there were just 4 or 5 talas there, and they were simple, like 8 beats or 12 beats, 14 beats. But it was not so, because we find the evidence from the poetry. As we know that poetry is the basis of talas, because poetic meters, vritta and chandas, they have a specific Laghu Guru structure, and that gives us the tala structure. And if we look in the ancient texts, we find ample of vrittas and chandas. And see, in this specific example, Kalidasa has used poetic meters pertaining to odd beats. So let us listen to that, and we will stop today. Though this is reconstructed, or we can say recomposed in today's ragas and talas, the poetic meters are the same, and the tala structure is the same as ancient. So let us listen to that.
शंशुका विकच पद्म मनोज्ञवक्त्रा सोन्मादहं सरवणुपुरनादरम्या काशंशुका विकच पद्म मनोज्ञवक्त्रा सोन्मादहं सरवणुपुरनादरम्या आपक्वशारिरुचिरा तनुगायत्री प्राप्ता शरण्यववधूरिवरूपरम्या आपक्वशारिरुचिरा तनुगायत्री प्राप्ता शरण्यववधूरिवरूपरम्या.
So this is 10 beat structure. Okay, I will go ahead.
प्रतिदिशतु शरद्वत् चेतस प्रीतिमग्रयां कुमुदरुचिरकान्ति कामिनी भून्देयं प्रतिदिशतु शरद्वत् चेतस प्रीतिमग्रयाम्.
प्रदिशतु हिमयुक्त काल एष सुखम्.
उदशानि शुचयावृतक्षितिं वचिस्थितक्रोञ्चनिनादराजितं प्ररुदशानि शुचयावृतक्षितिं.
See, this is 9 beat structure.
नादराजितं प्रकामकालं प्रमदाजनप्रियं वरोरुकालं शिशिराभयं शृणु प्रकामकालं प्रमदाजनप्रियं प्रवरोरुकालं शिशिराभयं शृणु. निरुद्धवातायनमन्दिरोदरं हुताशनो भानुमतो गभस्तय. निरुद्धवातायनमन्दिरोदरं वातायन मन्दिरोदरं हुताशनो भानुमतो गभस्तय गुरुनिवासांस्य वरासयौवना प्रयान्ति काले प्रजनस्य सेव्यताम् निपात शशाङ्कभूषिता जिह्म स्वादुषार्पदर्प प्रचुर गुणविकार स्वादुशालिक्षुरम्य प्रबल सुरत केलिर्जात कन्दर्पदर्प प्रियजन रहितानां चित्त संताप हेतु शिशिर समय एष श्रेयसेवोऽस्तु नित्यम्.
So in this way, we can see that in ancient times, the poetic meters were pertaining to different kind of matra structures like 9 beats, 13 beats, 10 beats. So this also reflects on the variety of talas in ancient India. Okay, so this was about ancient Indian music. Of course, there are a lot of things you can decipher from the texts, ancient texts, and I have just taken an overview of all that. We can go into greater depths if we have time, but for giving just a broader idea, this is ancient music. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, someone has asked.
Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah.
Is there any this eastern part of India, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, यहाँ पर भी कुछ ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स और उसके बारे में भी कुछ रेफरेंसेस प्राप्त होते हैं, जैसे आपने सेंट्रल इंडिया या साउथ इंडिया के बारे में दिखाया, नॉर्थ इंडिया का दिखाया, ईस्टर्न इंडिया का भी कुछ ऐसा प्राप्त होता है?
ईस्टर्न इंडिया के बारे में मिडिवल टाइम से हमें ज्यादा मिलता है, प्राचीन काल से ज्यादा कुछ मिलता नहीं, माने एविडेंसेस एज सच. बट यस, ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर सम रेफरेंसेस टू कामरू, not from musicological texts but other texts. So that part of India was also active culturally, but there are not clear evidences of music in that region in ancient texts. But from medieval times we get some references. Even there are some text, musicological texts pertaining to the music system in Manipur from say 14th or 15th century onwards.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. When Jaikishan Hinguji asked, sir, who played flute in this one?
That was Sandeep Kulkarni, disciple of Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia.
ओके सर, मेरा एक और प्रश्न था.
हाँ,
कि जैसे कुछ शब्दों का अर्थ बदलता है कालांतर में, जैसे तान, आज हम जिसको तान कहते हैं, तो तान शब्द पहले भी था लेकिन उसका अर्थ बदला. वैसे ही राग शब्द, राग का वैसे बदला है क्या? जैसे राग हम जिस चीज को आज बोलते हैं बृहदेशी में, उसके बाद कोई ग्रंथ में राग उसी तरह यूज हुआ है या कुछ और अर्थ में यूज हुआ है?
I can say that the meaning is not totally changed, but we have added many layers of meaning to the word today. Like the concept of raga has ever growing concept. So there, like in the ancient Brihadeshi or Sangeet Ratnakar, they have explained the lakshanas of ragas and types of ragas. So if we consider Sangeet Ratnakar, it tells us about elaborate type of raga gamut, like raga, grama rag, bhasha, antar bhasha, vibhasha, raganga, kriyanga, upanga. So that kind of system was, elaborate system of ragas was there. and the lakshanas of ragas, they are even followed today. So there is not much change in that aspect. But the way we treat rag today, it's in a way a modern perspective. Conceptually is the same.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take just last 2 questions.
एक सर जाती गायन कधीपासून कधीपर्यंत असं म्हणता येईल?
जाती गायन, जाती गायन नाही. Jati, we can say that jatis, the evidences of jatis, we can say they are from at least 5th century BC. And when the treatises mentioned about jati, that means they were prevalent even before that time. So we can say around, say, 8th century BC to 8th century AD, that was a prime period of Jati Gayan or Jatis. And gradually then the system of Jati and Murchana started diminishing, and in a way Ratnakar gives indications of that Jati and Murchana systems are wiping out. And from say 13th to 14th century, Jatis have eradicated by rag. So after that point, we don't get jati as such. Yeah, of course, there are some texts who explain the concept of jati because the earlier texts have done that, but actually they were not in vogue.
Ramandas Somayaji asked, do any rag can be said to be eternal since they emerge from Vedas?
From Vedas, I cannot say that because Vedic music doesn't explain the ragas as such, and not even jatis. So, but the basic scale, as we can say, that was kind of Kafi That. So that scale is even today. And from the Murchanas of that scale, we can find Kalyan That, Bhairavi That, Asavri That, Khamaj That, Bilawal That. So out of Murchanas of all these major Thatas are there. So in a way, these are the eternal things.
Yeah. Yes, I'm wondering, is there anything? What happened?
I can't get you. The voice is not clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. He mentioned in chat box, particularly when mention is there, Baswagan Krishna has played flute.
Particularly when mentioned, the mention of Krishna playing flute is much later. I will say it's from say Harivamsha and Bhagavata. So these are texts much later. So probably from the 3rd century AD, not before that. Even before that, we don't get the icons of Krishna in sculptures while playing flute. The Krishna icons with flute are much later, like say from 6th or 7th century AD, not before that.
So yes, thanks a lot, sir. It's a wonderful journey of ancient Indian music. बहुत ही सुंदर जानकारी आपने हमें दी. यहाँ अभी कोई सवाल भी नहीं है, तो फिर कल हम मिलेंगे जरूर. Thanks a lot again to all. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.